All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Aetheryte Radio, Gamerscape's Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm FusionX, and with me today we have Zenidra, Bryn, and Aldino.
Hey everybody.
Sil could not make it. He had a doctor's appointment or something, and it was like they were way behind or something this morning. So he's not here. So he has been damned because I'm too lazy to change the whole setup. We were also supposed to have a special guest today. Chili did not make it. Something came up, so we will we'll get him on the next one, as they say. So he will be back another day here.
I feel like I'm right up on my camera here. Is there something in the middle of Brian's screen?
No. A little black line for some reason, at least on...
I don't see it.
Oh, it's gone. The internet fixed
No idea what's going on. All right, great.
I looked like I had a really awesome black mustache that just went out.
Large.
You get one of those programs that just adds like a giant curly mustache to your face on your webcam.
Snapchat. Get all those
Need
filters.
it.
Nice. Real quick here, we do want to apologize for the delay in getting this episode out. Stormblood has been out for a while now. We were hoping to get something out fairly quickly. I have been swamped with work since E3, so apologies for that. Another quick mention here, too. We've had Brian and Gannyman streaming a little bit on GE over the past few weeks. We hit Twitch affiliate.
Woohoo!
So we have a sub button now. If you want, you can hit that sub button and you will get a little Gamer Escape logo emote. Look, we don't have a stream schedule. We're not on here a lot. We know this. No pressure. If you guys want, great. We'll throw it towards our Zoom subscription or something small like that. If not, let's go support somebody else that actually streams more. So there you go. And as we already get a sub.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Please don't sub to us. Get sub.
No. If you guys at Twitch Prime and you want to support what we do here for free, you do have that option. We appreciate it very much. So the team, not just Fusion and not just everybody that's on the show, there's a big group of people that support this wiki and drive all that. So all support is totally welcomed, and you guys rock. So shout out to Sarcastic.
I know. For sure. I found out what the issue is with Brian's thing.
Oh, cool.
So I need to find. It's
happening.
It's
the pop up. It's the alert box.
No, it's not it's so behind the scenes, right? We have our little frames here for our cameras, and
You messed up his frame.
it's actually an image slideshow.
Ooh.
And it goes back and forth, and it shows our Twitter handles. And so when I had to edit it because Chili's not on,
You screw it up.
it bumped up some stuff for some reason, and it got placed weird. So now, when we refresh this, in theory,
my giant
waiting.
black mustache is no more.
now that I'm waiting for the change, it feels way longer than I remember it.
The dream is dead.
It should be okay. There we go. All right.
Yay.
Done. Yay. Look at that. Right on the spot. All right. So, we haven't done anything since E3, so we're going to backtrack just a little bit. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, we did have a chance to interview Yoshida-san out at E3.
It's a pretty good interview.
I don't mean to brag, but I think this is one of our better interviews. I think we got a lot of really interesting stuff answered. And I think part of that was because we actually asked a lot of story-based questions, which we usually don't do. But it's stuff that's been irking me for a little bit, right? It's so what's up with we have Eureka, we had the Crystal Tower. Is that continuing? No, totally separate. But we will have a follow-up to what happened with Nero's little sensor thing after he threw it in the pit and it beeped. Because everyone's like, oh, it's Eureka. Well, no, it's not. But we will find out what it is. I think it's probably something to do with the ethereal seal under Mordona. But we'll see.
Anything that we can kind of interact with more and more Mordona would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That ends up being kind of this, it's still a hub. You still have to go there. And, it would be great if they kind of expanded on that at some point in the future. Just my opinion.
Obviously, right, Nero is tied up in Omega right now. So I don't know.
And
Maybe he's not going to have anything to do. Yeah, we are going to be talking spoilers. It's been out for 4 weeks. We haven't done like general impressions, because we haven't done an episode since before E3. It's in the title on the Twitch thing. It says spoilers. If you don't know what that is, we're not talking about cars. We will be saying what happens in the main scenario.
Yes.
So just a heads,
first time in probably our podcast history, we always talked about, we'll do a spoiler cast, and then it's like, too much time is.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it. Yeah, people are still playing it. It's fine. It's fine. We'll get back to it. Never do. Remember when we were going to do like bi-weekly episodes? That worked out well. Don't trust anything we say. So yeah, we'll have a side quest. It won't be connected to the main scenario. And then we talked about with Omega, they have the Genji Armor, which is coming from. I think technically, like the ones we have right now from the normal mode, it's like sub Genji. I think the Savage mode is actually going to be named Genji proper, because the current stuff isn't.
Right.
So I think once we get the Savage mode, that's like the real Genji Armor. Asked if they were going to be bringing in more famous equipment sets from that, maybe stuff from like 11. He says there's already a wide variety of equipment, but it may be a good opportunity to consider something like that.
Right.
I would love Homam from 11. If I could get Homam gear, I could totally do my Dragoon from 11.
Give me back.
Can't
my
remember
joy
what
token.
that looks like.
Get my Aries. Get my Aries Curious.
But hold up, I've been seeing your tweets.
Don't they already have the Aries Curious?
Like, are you even like, are you still in the Make Dragoon, good again? Or
right.
We'll get into that. we'll get into that.
Boy.
That's commitment, but at the same time,
I'm not changing my Twitter handle. We'll leave it. Let's put it at that.
Yeah.
At least not yet.
Not yet.
I'm trying to think. Some of this is old news, but there really were some cool stuff in here. Where was the? I don't want to say something wrong.
Right.
Okay, so we asked. We've been dealing with the Ascians for a long time now.
Yeah.
For me, it's like every other patch. It's like, oh yeah, Ascians, they're a thing.
They're there.
Okay. So we asked, is this basically like the 14 story that's just gonna be like go on forever, and then heaven forbid, right? We reach an end of service for 14, then they'll finish it. And they said we haven't actually clearly decided on how we're going to bring a resolution to the Ascian arc. I don't think we need to hold it until the end of service, though. Right. Having the arc for them and finding out about Zodiark or the secret behind Hydaelyn or who the Warrior of Light actually is, ...
Yeah.
Even if we did reveal all of that and have closure, it's still not the end of the story. We can always make more expansions. Maybe we'll go to Vana'diel or something like that. Return to Vana'diel. What? What?
Only if I can get my Gil off my old character.
What?
There's 50 mil just sitting on Lakshmi.
Cool. That'd be so cool in the sense that imagine taking the concept and the gameplay of 14 and being able to explore that. That to me,
Mario, yes.
That to me really. Yeah,
I mean,
I'd rather do that.
That to me is so. What makes Final Fantasy so great is that they have so much they're pulling from. We're looking at now currently. Final Fantasy V is a huge influence going on right now.
Yeah.
And so why not Vanity? But they're open to it. That means to me, as a just a consumer, that they're like, yeah, we've got some ideas for this conclusion, but that's not the end of it. Like, we will, as long as you guys are having fun and we're having fun. This is something that could be, and the question is it a 20-year property? Is it more? 11's still sub-based.
Yeah.
People are still sub to 11. Like, this is something that, like, if I was sitting here going, like, well, is this gonna last? Abso-freaking-lutely.
And I think it's important to note too. I mean, look, Yoshida's been around for a while. He knows what he is and is not allowed to say. Like, as much as they play on that, he likes to slip people information when he can.
Right.
And the fact that he would even mention something like this means that it has been at least talked about briefly in the office, right? So that's I'm not sure how to feel about it. Like, I'm kind of waiting for 4.1, right, to see what the Return to Ivalice raid is going to be like.
Exactly.
And then I'll decide how excited I want to get for the idea of a Return to Vana'diel type thing.
Right, because we could easily overhype ourselves for something that it's ends up being, but on just an artistic scale, just imagine the style and the beauty that is kind of the artistic direction of 14 reapplied to those zones and reimagine those zones in that kind of way, because it would be obviously a reimagining.
Oh my gosh.
Unless they freaking blend the two.
I got it. I got it. The New World.
Oh no. I knew it was coming.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
the Marble Jaw are from the New World.
It's true.
Right? They could be like Ottergon or something.
That's like, imagine that, like that press conference, like, okay, we keep like every kind of like fan fest, they keep zooming out.
Oh my god.
Yes.
The world of like Heidelin is huge. We have we're only even still seeing a very small percentage of it, and I love that they've designed it that way.
You know what it is? The expansion video, right, for 7.0 Return to Vana'diel. We're just chilling. We're just hanging out somewhere. All of a sudden, this portal opens up behind us, and Shantoto just pulls us through.
She's already been in the game.
Right? Yeah, she does. She's got our address, right? She knows where we live.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so that would be exciting. I have to tell another story too. We were at E3, and we got to hang out with Aya, Matt, Shen, and Tony, all those guys over at the community team. And we were talking with Aya for a little bit after our interview, and she hadn't read it yet. So we pulled out our phone and she was reading it, and she gets to the Vana'diel part because she's a really big 11 player. And she's like, oh my gosh, like she's getting a little emotional. She's like, I might cry. Right as we're doing this, Yoshida comes out, and he's checking like the win-loss ratio on Susano for the day. And I was like, Yoshida-san, you're going to make Aya cry. He goes, huh? I go, return to Vana'diel. And he just kind of says something in Japanese and like walks away. So it's like, okay. So I think we will be following up with this.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, and again, like he
should know better than
Yoshida
Yes,
knows
seriously.
what and what not to say. So the fact that he like kind of let this slip, it might be a thing. So
it's the same thing as the open world primal fights. That is not off the table.
Right.
No. It's not off the table.
Right.
He has these plans, and he says it's not the right time for it to be implemented in the game. But that does not mean that it's not going to be coming. And that for me, I love that direction. I love that he's thinking 5.0 and 6.0 and 7.0 for this game and this vision. I just hope that they find somebody else to help him do his job. Whether they take over the producer or the director.
Well, you know what it'll be. It's
get a little bit more sleep.
It's when 3 years from now, when 11 finally caves in and the mobile version gets canceled, they'll bring in Matsui to do.
Oh man,
remember FF11 mobile? I remember.
Yeah.
One of the other story-based questions that we asked, when Heaven's Word is about to come out, we talked to Yoshida-san at E3. And we talked about, like, if we're going up for Heaven's Word, does that mean we're going down for 4.0? 3.0 hadn't even launched yet. We're asking him about 4.0. Yeah. He says, yeah, maybe we'll go up. Maybe we'll go to the moon. But who would give you quests on the moon? And so we kind of followed up on that, where it's like, end of 3.0, right? As soon as you see that end of 3.0, I'm like, oh, hey, look, it's the moon. And look, it's people on the moon that could give us quests on the moon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we asked if we're ever going to actually go to the moon. And he says, of course, the moon has been a relevant storyline element in the Final Fantasy series, so it's something that we would like to touch upon eventually.
And the fake moon.
Right?
Yes.
Seeing the white ass scene in the Warrior of Darkness on the moon, you see that scene, but you weren't exactly sure where it was or what moon is being depicted, or if they're in the bend of time. So we'll define that properly eventually. You hear all these conspiracy theories.
Way to make it way more complicated.
Right?
Yeah.
You hear all these conspiracy theories where man maybe didn't land on the moon and it was filmed in a studio, so maybe, you never know.
Yeah,
sure.
We joked with him, 5.0, we'll go to Garlemald and we'll find the moon studio.
Yeah,
that's a holodeck.
So yeah,
that would be awesome.
That's an interesting answer, right? I was just expecting like, yeah, maybe, but then they start throwing in like, yeah, we'll maybe find out what moon it is, and if it's real, and if it's in the bend of time. And it's like, what?
Even if that planet was Heidelin, it's like, who knows?
Yeah.
Like the Ascians don't care. They just
maybe that was Vana'diel's moon, and if you went onto the other side of it, you would find Lemuria, right? Right.
Man.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So,
Absolute Virtue just sitting there. He's like, where is everybody?
Wow.
I don't understand.
Come on. People.
So they actually all just get briefed at the beginning, right before they go into an interview with Fusion. Make up stuff on the spot, guys.
It's funny because the way E3 kind of works, right? Everybody has their own booths and stuff, and sometimes there's meeting rooms behind those booths and stuff. So we had our interview time, and we're waiting back there with some of the guys we know at PR, and Yoshida was on a smoke break, long day for people like Yoshida, right? Just interview after interview after interview. So he comes back and we wave. And we're like, hey, we're next. And he just goes, like as he's walking back.
Rough.
No, it's Yoshida loves us. It's great. I know it doesn't seem like it when I say stuff like that, but he does. All right, so that's our interview. If you want to check out the full interview, head on over to Gamerscape. It's up on our featured articles bit on the top of the website. Lots of good stuff in there. Next up, we're going to do Stormblood impressions, because I don't know if you guys know, an expansion pack came out.
Oh, shoot.
I know. It's crazy. So, oh, God, where do we even start with this, right? Like, there's so much.
Oh man, there is so a lot.
Much. I'm upset about Xenos.
How so? How so?
I wish he was still around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
he is the villain we've needed for a while.
Right.
He creeps me out to a maximum.
Right?
Yes.
And he has also multiple times succeeded in kicking our ass.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
It's like we've been going through this whole thing, and it's just like, we're the warrior of light. We can kill anything we want because we're all powerful. And then Xenos is like, I'm taking you down a peg.
Yeah. Wasn't he also blessed with the echo? Is that like the impression that
artificial
artificial echo thing? Yeah,
well, they figured out science to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah,
well, still like that adds a whole extra level of complexity that they've been able, because obviously the Guardians, they don't have magical abilities, and that's kind of one. And why they've excelled technologically, and then having, I guess, a grudge. Yeah, they had to. That's the only way they could survive, because they couldn't tap into anything else. But that's why you see them more on airships still to this point. But that was great that they had that artificial, echo kind of thing. I was just like, that is interesting.
I think, really cool. On a side note, I think the Revenants could potentially open up the door for a 14 style Blue Mage.
Yes.
I think that's exactly where they could be going with that.
I am a fan of Blue Mage. I support that.
Yeah, bring it.
It's one of those things. It's like, well, how would they do it? And I think, we obviously will be seeing more of this. It's been kind of one of the lingering things after the main scenario is done. But yeah, I think this might be leading into like a Blue Mage thing. But yeah,
before we go, but did y'all get the letter when you got your Red Mage delivered to you?
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Now you can stop thinking about Blue Mage. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes, exactly.
The fact that that's even in there, I'm like,
love localization.
I'm not sure if Koji's just like, no, I'm gonna mess with them one more time about Blue Mage, or they know, right? But I would have liked to have had a constant threat, I think, for at least a couple more patches. But now it's like, all right, honestly, at this point, the villain is gonna be like socialist issues when trying to rebuild Doma and Alamigo, right? I mean, that's the real bad guy now. It's just people Well,
if you look, it had a very Game of Thrones kind of theme, and I think that is going to continue. If you follow that story, when she's occupied these areas, sometimes that was the greatest challenge, because you're not a conqueror anymore. Now you're a governor, and that is going to lead to complications. You have people who've been raised one way to believe one thing. How are they going to be accepted and acclimated to society?
But it's not like the Guardians are going to be like, "Oh, you took the stuff back, you win."
Well, we got the freaking we have the cannon now. I don't think any ships are going to be coming our way.
The cannon that faces one direction.
We'll
so if the Guardians attack us from Gridania, we can get them.
Well, you would think that somebody could say, "Let's just turn that in that direction."
Right.
It's like, come on, put it on a swivel.
If they even bother to fix it.
Right.
Who wouldn't? It's a tactical event. Come on.
So good.
If they don't fix it, it's like Robon does not need to be a general.
Right.
Get out
of here. You think they're going to retaliate? Nah.
They're going to wait, and we're just going to go to them over the course of the next 2 years.
The Empire has an interesting problem on its hands, though. We've taken back Doma, we've taken back Almigo, and now it's like they've also conquered these other areas, and so that they're going to be dealing with unrest in that regards. And the question is how thin did they spread themselves? Because if they spread themselves pretty thin, then the only thing they can rely on is a focused attack, and that's more of a strategic thing in and of itself. But I'm very curious how it goes.
Part of the Guardian thing is wherever they go, they take people from the area and they make them part of the army. Yeah. So even as thin as they spread themselves, they still add people as they go.
Well, and that having been said, I mean, how big is that clouded area on the map? I mean, they still have equal if not more landmass than we've liberated. So
Yeah.
I don't remember if Ivalice was supposed to be conquered by them as well.
Well,
or is that like a
Gaius is from Rabanastre?
I think so, right? Yeah, I think it was
because Rabanastre and Dalmasca have both been mentioned. Gaius is from one of those, I think, originally. So well, speaking of, I have a theory.
Okay.
This is a theory I've had for a long time. I think we have a little bit more base to put it on. At the end of the MSQ, we see our good buddy, the Emperor, and Elidibus shows up.
Yeah.
He's talking with him. Elidibus removes his mask. We don't see who it is, but the Emperor just says, "How dare you?"
How dare you?
Which means he knows who that person is.
Yes.
We didn't see Elidibus until after 2.0.
Right.
It's true.
Could it be that Gaius and Elidibus are one and the same?
I think everybody really wants it to be Gaius.
I know I do. I don't know about anybody else. I know I do.
Easily a deal made when facing death, right? You know, so it's
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, he was already in league with the Ascians, and all that stuff happens at Praetorium, and it's just that's kind of how it went. And so that's why he's almost been kind of playing both sides in a way, right? Because Elidibus is kind of like that middleman. Maybe that's that bit of Gaius, but then that part of Ascian or whatever. They're kind of conflicted, and maybe he's not sure what he's I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Outside of lore, though, Square Enix is going to be running up, with the World of 14 into kind of a problem. It's like as we go forward into like the story, but into 5.0 and 6.0, we have more zones you can fly in. We've got more zones. We've got more things that are going on. At some point, in my opinion, this is just the theory I've had. At some point, the world's going to have to suffer another calamity to bring about Zodiar. And at that point, does it make sense to also kind of redesign either the beginning part of the game or the beginning zones?
Oh, you're asking if they're going to do a cataclysm. Yeah.
Right. Well, we've already done the cataclysm. That's
true.
And so, the question is not if, but when, and then when again. I mean, just based off, unless they want to redefine what a calamity is, because they've broken so many of the seals. I think they were like the 13 tears of the world, et cetera. So many things have to happen, and thus to bring about the return of Zodiark and the rejoining. But with that, it's like at some point, like that kind of makes sense to also maybe time that with like, hey, now Ul'dah is all in one zone because Kugan, like it's just there seems to be like I really enjoy being more in the new areas, which is a good thing. At some point, you want to have a that feeling of full connection and like, hey, why is it here and not here anymore? And that's going to be a problem that I don't think that maybe 5.0 probably doesn't make sense, but as they go into 6 and 7, what we were talking about earlier, it can, that's just the question I'm always asking in the back of my mind. Like, when are we going to lose? Because we need to.
Right.
We were losing in 4.0 and then we off Xenos, and then it's just back to where we were.
Multiple times.
Right.
And then won.
It's always a return to the status quo.
I was so happy to have Xenos, like, kick my ass.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was amazing.
Finally! Like, something has just, like...
Something can stop me.
Yeah, and that's... and now it's gone.
Yeah.
He turned into Shinryu, and we were like, oh, now it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
What did you guys take anything from the Empire's last words regarding his son feeling like, that he'd become a monster or something like that? Like, what did y'all kind of glean off that? Because that sparked a bit of curiosity in my perspective, but
well, it kind of gave me the impression that he's definitely more human and understands maybe how to treat people.
Maybe.
So maybe, I mean, we do get this image of Gardenwald being painted super badly, but at the same time, when we heard stuff from Gaius back at 1.0, 2.0, he's like, you guys don't know what you're doing. You're screwing up your only magical little space in the world, and I'm going to take it away from you and fix it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, they have their good points, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the best villains are that. Like, the best ones, like, the best bad guy, for his own reason, doesn't view himself as the bad guy, but views himself as the hero. It's like, I'm here to save you. Now, outside of Xenos was a little bit crazy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit.
But like the best conflicts come from that both sides being dug in from the kind of that belief perspective of you're trying, like, we're thinking we're trying to save the world. You think you're trying to save the world. We disagree over it. We're going to have conflict. And one of us,
from my perspective, it's the Jedi who are wrong.
Right. Well, and this is the problem. And Yoshida said this a few times. He's like, man, way more people sympathized with Gaius than we thought.
Right.
And so maybe that's why now he's maybe a little bit like maybe they had to bring him back because
that's my only complaint about the villains in this game. So like if we go right back before Stormblood, you had Sloppy. Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Ilberd.
The problem I had with how Heavensward ended with Ilberd is that Ilberd views himself as the hero, but then right at the end they make him look visually like it's a storytelling element so that we know that he's bad, but from his perspective, he's the hero. He is people like I am going to say and essentially when I say we need to lose, Ilberd won. He won. He forced our hand, forced us to take back Almingo. If not for him, we would not be here. But we also disagree with the method in which that he goes about it. But I just hate when they do that, where they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna," it's like he gets that real evil expression. It's like, no, you're the hero. You should be like, you guys are bad. I'm the hero.
You're like, I got this. I mean, he's like holding like Nidhogg's eyes, just like does a backflip. He's like, I'm gonna die. Yay! I'm a hero.
Well, yeah, I'm a hero. You guys keep wanting to do your political BS. And there you go. Anyway, that's my one gripe with.
I think there was an interesting Reddit post shortly after 4.0 launched where people were kind of talking about Xenos that I thought was actually kind of spot on. Where Xenos was basically us. He's he's in this palace surrounded by just a whole area of salt, and he's bored because there's nothing challenging for him to fight.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I thought that was a good.
There were a lot of comments about the salt fields.
Yeah, relate that to the dinner that we had, back in Heavensward, where we thought like somebody's gonna die, but it's like, what are you gonna do next? It's like, we're gonna, I guess, find things to fight.
Yeah. I also want to say I liked that. One of the things that I was worried about with Stormblood is that it was going to feel more like Heavensward, where it was very like road trippy. Where it's just like, okay, I'm with a couple people, just area to area. But once you kind of got out to like Kugane, it's like, all right, now we have a base, and it's not we're all just traveling together. And I felt that really helped kind of get rid of that. So that was. I really loved
being a girl character, going with Lise and Alize. It was a girl trip.
Yeah.
It was great. That was good. And girl vacation. Let's go kick ass.
They were strong female leads.
Oh yes.
And I think they told a really good story.
Yeah, it was great.
That said, Lise annoys the crap out of me.
Well, she is.
She can
a lot of people like that character, but
yeah.
Now I liked. I think. I really just like the development that all the characters went on, and then the bringing of. The uniting and taking back Doma, and then I love the line. It's like, do you want your freedom or do you want my head, or something like that? I'm probably messing up that line, but with the King of Doma, and I was just like, wow, like, are people willing to fight? Because I think essentially they lost the will, and we showed them that whether you resist or not, it's not going to get any.
And everybody's like, if we could like liberate the castle, but have like some cool like Streets of Rage style music playing, we would totally fight.
Yeah, we'll help you.
Yeah.
I love that Doma Castle track.
Oh, it's so good.
So good. Yeah, and then you see the debris all floating in the thing, and how they.
It's weird because for me, like, I loved Doma Castle, but Yanxia felt kind of boring to me. But then on the other side, like, I feel like the Alamigo side of the story was better. But Alamigo is the most bland-looking thing I have ever seen. Like,
actually, those are my two favorite zones.
I'm still kind of a little heartbroken because I was hoping for some new gameplay system that we were incorporating, where we're trying to take back land, and I'm still just looking for the way in which that we could have some kind of overall purpose to be in the open world.
Right.
And Mal, I know that they didn't like. So I think it was either your interview or one of the interviews coming out at E3 talking about like, what's the next PvP element, and they're going to be doing like, it sounds like a siege, kind of a 2-team thing. I'm still hoping for some kind of world v world where, as a team, we're all competing in this, some kind of thing. But anyway,
You know what I really liked about Yanxia?
Yeah.
Yes, there were spots in it that were really blank because it was war torn and whatnot, but the mountains were like really round, and just stick with me. They were very round, and then there were the clouds that would float up at certain parts, certain heights of the mountains, and it looked like a woodblock painting, like a 3D woodblock painting. And I just love that they incorporated that. I thought it was so cool.
I get with the wall looking kind of like a serpent.
Sorry, go ahead, Charles.
Oh no, that was it. The wall kind of looked like a serpent, and the clouds. It was very Eastern. It was really cool.
Did you guys like see what Yoshi was talking about when he was talking about how they kind of spent a lot of time working kind of on the weather and whether the weather effects? I felt like the weather in this game, especially with the clouds. And the
I can see it. Yeah, like Yangsha has some really cool like a fog, kind of thing that they do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh wow, that's what he was meaning by that. So I did recognize it because at first in the interviews it was like, who cares about the weather?
Right.
Well, all right, but no, I was like, yeah, I added a kind of this element. But the Azim step for me, out of all the new 6 new zones and that soundtrack, I went and bought it. Like I was like, doing it for my house. It plays 24/7 in my house now.
Yeah. That is the best song in my opinion.
And it stinks because you get into that zone and you're like, all right, we'll walk up to this music's really cool. You get into the reunion and it's like, all right, we'll switch back to the generic Stormblood outpost. I'm like, come on.
No good.
Yeah. New DM Yumi in the chat says, I still want to get into DOMA and Alamigo proper. So this was something that we were, I think back at Frankfurt, I was talking to Yoshida, they had the press conference. They had shown us Kugane. They hadn't actually shown us Alamigo.
Right.
And he's like, well, first you got to liberate it. I am so disappointed that Alamigo was a dungeon.
Right.
And that right now we're just kind of walking around in like the streets of the residential area.
Yeah.
You can't go inside anything. The color palette consists of 2 colors, peach and slightly like lighter peach. Yeah. It looks visually, it is very boring. There's like no Garlean texture weaved into that, like they were talking about.
Yeah, they talk about like how you're gonna see like, Garlean.
Yeah, like the only like Garlean stuff you see is like the blockades when you do the dungeon. Like there wasn't a lot I felt of. It wasn't exciting visually.
That said, there's a bunch of little stuff like a bunch of the paths have Garlean lighting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, street lamps.
If you
we'll take over and we'll give you like street lamps.
I'm hopeful. Like my hope for this expansion is that, like over the course of the patches, that they open up more areas for us.
Right.
I'm bummed we can't go back up to that garden.
Yeah.
They talked about that today.
They are going to add that. Yeah. They have to add weather effects to it.
Well, because right now it's an instance kind of off in its own.
But
that way you could go up there. It'll be interesting to see. I'd like to. That garden was beautiful, like well done. And so I was like, being able to have it a part of the world. That's another thing I'd even love to see is like some of these instance zones and areas to be able to be just incorporated in the world where like after you clear it, you could always just kind of go back and explore it for gathering purposes or something. They have all that. They have like so many. Like when you think of it. The world is huge. The dungeons are huge, but right now you kind of have this balance between what's instanced and what is what is open.
Yeah,
I really like the paths, like all of the garden cobble paths.
Yeah,
the mini layered thing. I really like that. I thought that made the zone really great.
The zones themselves, I thought, were well better designed. I actually enjoyed them more than some of the Heavensward zones because, like, especially like the Sea of Clouds. Like the Sea of Clouds is impressive when you first see it.
Right.
You realize, like, okay, you got to do a lot of flying. There's not a lot of the ground under you. Here, there's ground under you. There's water you can go under. There's still the sky you can go in. So, like, from a like just a box perspective, there's just more to see and do.
So many graves, just so many graves.
Oh yes,
in every zone, they really like want to push onto you. Guess what? Lots of people have died here. Yeah, there's 1,000 graves.
1,000 graves.
Even where the M tribe, what is it? Peering stones.
Yeah, the peering stones.
M tribe.
Yeah.
If you fly up it a little bit, there's a little cave. There's graves in that little cave, super
Yeah.
high off the ground.
Yeah.
Why?
I found that and I'm like, who has to like take the bodies up there? Like, how did they do that?
It's weird.
Magic?
Right?
Very strange.
Let's see, what else is there? The Gosetsu thing.
Oh,
are you happy with that or not?
I like
I'm
it.
confused.
I like it.
I'm not
Confused by it. He was shot. The thing fell down. Was he teleported out, or is this another plane?
That's the other question, right? Is you're always teleporting around, and everyone's like, "All right, we'll meet you over there." I'm like, "Why don't you just teleport?"
Yeah.
Am I the only guy that can teleport? And like out of the whole cast of characters, nobody ever just teleports.
Aether sickness, right?
Like,
yeah.
Lore-wise, it does take a toll on your body, and so it's like,
yeah.
But that's always the thing. It's like, you have an Aetheryte in your base of operations. Why don't we just, hey guys, let's teleport our whole army inside their base?
Right. Yeah. I think
you get an army in there, and like half of them are just vomiting because they're sick from the Aether.
Right. But I thought you had to like attune first, though.
Let's say Gosetsu is alive, like alive, and then he didn't really die. Like, I loved Gosetsu as a character, and I thought that it was even more endearing that when was dead or that he died. Like, I don't know what direction they're going with it, but it does kind of feel like kill somebody for the love of goodness, you know. It's like, you know,
I mean, they have.
It has no.
They have.
Right. Well,
and the last time they killed somebody, the uproar.
Whatever. You know, it's like, you know, at some point, like, you know, not that everybody has to die, but it's like at some point that is motivation. You have to have some degree of permanence if everything can always, you know, be undone. With magic, at some point, it's like, well, that character's arc kind of falls short. Like Gosetsu,
they're about half and half now, though.
Yeah, Gosetsu's about redemption. Half. I'm curious about where it is going to go forward from there.
Right.
I don't know. I was pleased as peaches to see.
I'm glad he's still around because I didn't want a repeat of Heaven's Word. It's like, oh, here's some characters, they're kind of fun. Oh, and you know, they're gone.
But what
now they're dead.
These two characters are on an island in the middle of nowhere.
That's the other thing. So that's the good side, right, is that they didn't repeat Heaven's Word, and we still have a character that we like, right? The downside is that now I feel like it's like I'm conflicted between like a downside and like let's just see what happens, because now both with Alamigo and Doma we have Fordola and we have Yotsuyu. Yeah. And both characters were from those areas originally, and then they turned, and now they're going to have to see what life is like after It's like the exact same character, but in different sections. So I'm curious what they're going to do there, because I feel like if their whole play is just like, oh, we'll see how like the native like Doman or Alamigan kind of get into this new liberated one. If it's like that same storyline just on other ends of the world, that's boring.
But they also had like different origin stories. Like Fordola loves her city, her people.
Right.
Country. Thank you. That's the word I needed. and she was just using a different method to try and quote unquote free them. Yeah. Whereas Yotsuyu hates the Domans. She's like, screw all of you. I'm gonna make your lives a living hell. I took this job because it's awful for you and it makes me feel good.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that they don't like repeat a lot of themes with them, you know, like it would be so easy to do, but it's that's why I'm kind of leaning towards like let's just see what happens.
To use
with both of them though, you can have that choice. Like you could show that here's somebody who decides to go on a path of redemption and you know to kind of, you know, I guess make amends, and then here's maybe the other choice is somebody who continually resists. I mean, that's an option. Who knows what direction? And that's the thing that's great that this, I think the expansion, like there's so much to it. But we also now get to look forward to many other patches that continue the story and add in more content. Hopefully, a lot more content.
My main criticism about not killing them is if you don't use them, I will be so mad. Yeah. If you give them that blaze of glory and then they come back and they don't do anything, that's just a waste.
I think the juxtaposition of the two characters, Yotsuyu and Gosetsu, is going to be super fun. Just amazing fun to watch.
I hope so. There have been so many stories where they survive and then they're like, oh, and they're still in the background.
And then they're going to get shipped and it'll be great.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna come back from the island. They're gonna be married, and it'll be fine. Everything's fine. Just talking smack about each other in every scene that they're in.
Like an old married couple.
All right. Let's go ahead before we get into the live letter. We'll just go through real quick everybody's main job. How is it with 4.0?
A lot of people hating on Scholar, and so I think we're going to get seeing some adjustments. But I'm enjoying the job. It feels fine. I have only got like White Mage to 61, so I don't have a healer to compare it at cap. But I haven't. I mean, I've done Delta Escape. I've run right now the hard content and haven't found it to be at a disadvantage. So that being said, in the live letter, they did talk about job adjustments to all the jobs that pretty much are coming. No, I like my new ability set. I miss Sustain and Stone Skin. I will probably always miss those abilities. But the thing is that I kind of ask myself is that if I was a new player coming in and I got Scholar to 70, would I miss them? And I probably wouldn't, because I wouldn't know anything else. So it's just for the fact that I knew that we had it and we don't have it anymore, is the only thing. But outside of it, not missing it. And I like the gear. I like that they return the gear back to you at the job completion of your job story.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that change a lot. I'm in Heavensward, it kind of felt awkward, especially later parts of the game where you couldn't like, wait, how do I go from 150 to whatever? But this way, it felt way more natural and a lot. And I like the look of them. I like the look.
Small note: if your inventory is super full, you can throw that gear away and you can buy it back for 1K a piece from the Calamity Salvager.
Oh, thank you very much. Good to know.
So you don't have to, go get stupid tomes from some dumb place and try and
or hunts
the gear that way.
Yeah. Go get hunt seals.
You could just go buy it.
I don't understand why hunts are still a thing. It never ends well, like ever. It always turns the community against each other. And so it's like when we were playing, me and Charles were doing the media tour, we were out in the Ruby Sea. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's a hunt mob. Damn it. Like,
why are they bad?
And sure enough, there's an A rank up in Azim Steps. Okay, cool, get out there. I can't even dismount my mount because of the lag. And then everyone's yelling, oh, this person pulled early. I'm like, great, we're doing this again. Fantastic.
Why can't, when you don't need experience, why can't fates be something to offset that? It doesn't have to be like a 1-to-1. It can be a lot less.
Yeah.
But the fact is that we have all this open world content, but none of it's like geared outside of leveling. And that's the thing, I think, one of the biggest weaknesses that I hope Stormblood... Well,
there's also the mark bills, which are kind of a small chunk in comparison to actually going and doing the hunts.
Right.
But if you do them every day, it doesn't take that long. And you have the points.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, there's these other things. Like, imagine, like, okay, you can get into this hunt, but it's like, well, you could still make some kind of legitimate progress while you wait for your queue and run and take...
Right. Yeah.
Like, even leaves, like, we didn't see leaves from a battle perspective brought in, and there's so many things they could do, but I'm going to end that rant there. I want to hear about y'all's your job impressions.
Yeah.
I really want to hear about Dragoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
You want to go next?
Just the subtle...
So, we got hands on it back in May, and I enjoyed it, right? It felt really cool. It felt like a smooth transition, and then the expansion launched. And the more I got into endgame stuff, the more horrible it became. So Blood of the Dragon, we had Blood of the Dragon in 3.0.
Brian
and it was
does
always
not care.
He's like, I'm out. And it was always like, oh, it's hard to keep up, right? Because there's only the couple of things that can increase it or whatever. There's stuff that takes it down. So nothing decreases it now, which is good. You have your 4 combo turn into a 5 combo. Both of those will help replenish the gauge, which is really nice. But then the kind of thing that Dragoon is built around now is building up eyes for Life of the Dragon. So you use Jump, and then you get access to Mirage Dive. You do 4 of those, you use your Gears Kogel, and then you get access to Life of the Dragon, which gives you Nostrand, which is a slightly more powerful Gears Kogel. I think it's like an extra 100 potency or something. So it's not like, oh my gosh, so much better. It's a little better, and this is what you base your whole thing on, is getting this active and doing this. Right. I think what really makes it worse is coming into this. It's like, man, it feels so much easier now to keep it up. Gears Kogel doesn't decrease the meter. You have 2 things that extend it. When it dies, though, you lose any eye progress, which means you have to restart again, and it makes it so much worse now. And you get into like a lot of like extreme primals. I've been doing Lakshmi and Susanoo Extreme, and you get into a certain phase, and it's very, very easy to lose it in these phases, which is super annoying. So that sucks. Sam doing 23,000 Midares also sucks for us. Also, Dragon Sight with a 6 Yalm tether is terrible. You have to macro it. I mean, if you take the time to try and click on somebody to activate it, you're going to lose DPS, which is super annoying because we're not a support job. We're a DPS job. They've been talking about, oh, well, why don't Dragoons have like a pet in 14? Well, because then the Dragoon's damage would be decreased. Okay, so I don't have a pet. Where's my damage? So having to, and that was a problem I had back in the media tour. Is like I have to click on somebody and then click the thing and then click back on the. It sucks. So you need to make a macro for it. That's the only
sounds
way.
Sounds like I need to make a macro.
That's the only way. The way I have it set up right now, it just targets. I have if you do like use action and then you put like a number after it, it'll target like the party list. So I just have it whoever like the Sam is in my raid group, it'll just target them automatically. I have another one that'll just target like the closest person to me if I don't want to deal with that. But the fact that I have to tweak the macro every time I go into something, that sucks. That's stupid. I shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to
just put it in, kind of an order of priority. So you can put multiple lines into the macro, and that way it would fail. You can always try for closest or whatever. It would
macros fail though.
You have
to put like 3 lines of what that is and the 3 lines of the next one.
Depending on, especially they fail more often depending on your ping. Yes. So I have a macro pretty much for my opener, and it's going to let's say use Fast Blade, but if I'm not within range, it will use Shield Lob or something like that. And so my ping is pretty great, but I've people who are like, oh, Brian, I love this macro. And some people are like, I always Shield Lob. And it's like, oh, because your ping's bad, it's evaluating you not in the right position.
Well, and it doesn't help that the game's been getting DDoS since Stormblood launch either. I mean, my wife does a lot of crafting. She does a lot of crafting macros. Every so often, it'll fail and skip, and it'll ruin everything.
But that whole point, it would be really cool to see, and I know people don't share this opinion, but with PvP, they brought in combos, and they are awesome. Not that they need to do it a 1-to-1 with PvE, but imagine if they just updated your ability, and you could say, okay, we're going to put a little logic into the action, so it's not a macro, but it's just going to be a little bit easier for you. And I personally like the lob and the thing. I think would be a great thing to combo into one action, and thus help us keep ability bloat down. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
No, and that is actually something that we asked Yoshida about too, out at the media tour about combos for PvE actions. And I mean the system is there, right? They have it for PvE now, but the issue is obviously some things have multiple branches, some things have directional requirements, and so they would have to figure out how to handle that.
Well, there's a lot of again putting in that logic, and the one from and everybody who's from a summoner or even scholar, Ruin does not become Ruin 2. So we're talking about outside of combos, we're talking about upgrading, and that seems to be a great from Stone 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we talked about it from a naming perspective with AoE, even in the last podcast. But the thing that I'm the one irk that I've got is that so Ruin does not become Ruin 2, so you still kind of somewhat need it on your bar if you run level sync contact. Ruin 3, and can become Ruin 4, and Ruin 1 can also become Ruin 4, but not in it just seems like this I'd be kind of great if Ruin 1 gets upgraded to just straight up Ruin 2, and then you could keep Ruin 3 or 4, or just name them something.
Don't get me started. Summoner is next, right? Yeah, you'll hear it.
I think the other thing, thing for me, I'm gonna finish off Dragoon.
I apologize.
So all the jobs now they have the job HUD, right? The job specific UI. Dragoon, I don't know how I feel about these overall. They feel largely unnecessary for a lot of things. The Dragoon one is a little bit of a pain in the ass because you have the eyes. And so after 4 of those, then you can activate Gears Cold and get it. But you can't always tell what you're at. There's not a number. It's just your little purple thing is slightly bigger than it was before. Maybe the next one will do it. Yeah. And so I feel like they should have that represented better.
Yeah, numbers would be cool.
I mean, but at the same time though, it's especially with Life of the Dragon, right? Then you can activate Gears Kogel, but you need to be able to see if your Gears Kogel is up, right? Because it's got a decent cooldown. So it's all right, so now I'm looking at my job gauge, looking down at my thing. I'm looking all over the screen now instead of just this little strip. So I'm conflicted. I don't know if the job HUDs are better or not.
Your that job UI though, so that way you're not bouncing around all
I actually put my Gears Kogel right next to my job UI.
Yeah, that's what I was that's kind of how I try to set it up so that you're not, because as long as you're not making taking more time than a global cooldown, you're not losing time. But still within that global cooldown, it's if you're it's taking me 3.2 seconds.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that I'm not sure if I like it or not. I'm not sure if I've had enough time with it or if I'm just kind of indifferent. I don't know. It's hard to.
There are also still adjustments are coming, and they're going to keep coming. They said they're coming in even in 4.1. So I think the best thing to do and this goes to everybody and us as well, is take our feedback, make sure that you're putting it on Reddit, put it on the forums, because they are listening. They always have been. Like that's one thing. Yoshi P has restored that trust. It's like, you know, whether they do it or not is one thing, but yeah, I could easily see that. It's kind of disappointing about Dragoon because I was like, I know a lot of people was like, because having had a 60 Dragoon, I was like, oh my gosh, I get why this job is so difficult because you're watching all these stupid little icons, and now I was like, yeah, the UI is gonna fix that, and it's like, you
not
know,
really. It just makes you look somewhere else in addition to the other things.
Yeah, exactly. So. Oh man.
So you're ready and raring to go with Summoner? Is that what you were saying?
I'm excited to hear about Charles.
Let's hear about Summoner and your giant ass Bahamut that blocks everything.
That Bahamut.
So
that needs to be transparent or something.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about it. We'll get to that.
Not transparency, but yeah,
we'll get to that.
The first thing I have to say is now I'm a red mage. But
I was wondering if you were going to talk about
I've been leveling other jobs.
Yes,
you know,
but it's interesting. It's you know, kind of an extension of what it was. Bahamut is cool. I got to start with that. Bahamut's very cool. The problem is specifically with that. Like, I'm not going to go super crazy into detail and like, you know, optimization.
That's my impression of Bahamut.
I was like, is Philip like walking naked behind you? Why are you? What's going on?
But he cannot move and attack. Yeah. So and he follows you directly, and you can't place him. So you have to turret during that point, and he attacks when you attack, which means to optimize him, and like I said, I'm not going to go too crazy, you end up doing like Ruin 2, waiting half a second because he has a different GCD, then Fester, then Ruin 2, then waiting half a second, then Addle, you know, the you know, intelligence down, because that makes him attack. So you have to do some really weird stupid things to get the amount of damage that you would normally get. I don't like that. I really don't.
I'm in the same boat with Dragoon with Gears Kogel because you need it up to activate Nastran, but if you've used it, you gotta wait, and then you have to make sure that your Blood of the Dragon gauge is filled, which means you have to do another rotation before you. It's stupid. It's a lot of little waiting for things that you shouldn't have to do.
And Summoner is just uniquely, well, not uniquely, because Dragoon has this as well, just so punished by dying. If you die, give up. That's it. That's it. Because if you died with like 2 stacks of Aether for Bahamut, like you're like, I'm going to get Bahamut ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, it's gone, and now you have to do Dreadrun.
Or you know, it's at that point where either you die like a stupid death, and you just like, all right. Or Lakshmi's like, okay, now I'm going to do the thing where you got to dance and blah, blah, blah for like 30 seconds, just long enough to completely screw you up.
That's the positive side that they did make the Summoner, is that it's not, there's no timer on those things. You know, that makes it risky, because if you accidentally like then trigger Aether Flow, you could get yourself out of sync, or you could just end up wasting a whole rotation on it. But the fact is, like, it just kind of puts those points in there, and then you can kind of do it, as opposed to like Dragoon and some of those jobs where it's like, well, even Black Mage, like, yeah, we're gonna dance, I'm losing it.
Meanwhile, Samurai just, you know, throws send charges up, and they're like, I'm just gonna sit here. Yeah, like I'll just keep them for a rainy day.
Hold on to them.
The AoE nerfs aren't that bad. Like, the Bane nerf is whatever, but
the Bane nerf needed to happen, though. I mean,
it did. I mean, you could still do pretty insane damage, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel good. That's my main. You know, like, I don't really care that, you know, I wish that sustain was still there, but there's bigger problems to face, and especially if, like, let's say you're new to Summoner and you hit Bane or Fester when there's no dots. You're screwed. Enjoy. Yeah. Because you lost a pip, and you cannot get it back. So like, you'll have 2, and you hit Aether Flow, and you get 1 back instead of 3. Right, like it refills it. Like, oh well, now I have to wait another 30 seconds.
I always hate that. Like, a lot of times in my rotation, I will, for whatever reason, I will hit my Gears Kogel instead of like Mirage Dive first. So, like, I'll be sitting at, like, 3 eyes. I'm like, all right, now go ahead and we'll act. Oh, cool. Now I gotta wait, like, 35 seconds.
Right.
Fantastic. Like, you know, it's so many things when I'm playing this job. If I hit one button at the wrong time, I'm like, I'm an idiot. Great. All right, there goes my DPS.
They were supposed to make it easier to play, and I don't think they did for a couple.
No. Yeah. They're not supposed to make it easier to play. They were supposed to make it where the I guess the entry more level player is able to get more into the middle class tier, etc.
I think
which I don't think they did either.
No, I think, you know, one of the things we talked about today, with some of these jobs is that they have things you build up towards, right? We talked about this last episode, you know, like Blood of the Dragon or Bahamut. And, you know, it's intended for longer fights and stuff like that. Like, all right, sure. The problem is these longer fights also have phase changes and things that can screw that over very easily. And so they need to, like, whatever notion they had of, like, yeah, in longer fights you get cooler things, they need to get rid of that thinking. Because it just does not work.
Shorten the cycles, basically.
It doesn't work, yeah.
It's
the
boring
jobs that
are
too.
The
it's
jobs
like,
that are
okay,
doing
I've seen
well.
this, it was cool the first time, can I skip it?
The jobs that are really doing well right now have much shorter cycles, you know what I mean? Like you think of your samurai, of course. Their cycle is much shorter. I mean, it's what,
I see whenever there's a samurai in the party, I just see those chunks of bar of life just fall off enemies. It's like,
it is ridiculous. I was reading Reddit, and somebody put numbers together where basically samurai has like a 15% increase of damage over a dragoon.
Yes.
And I'm like, great. I'll be over here crying in the corner if anybody needs me. Like, it sucks.
We knew that they were going to give them enough so that they didn't need utility, but now they're so high that all the utility should go to them. Like, you're really not optimizing if you're like a dragoon and you're like, I'll give it to my ninja friend. No, don't do that. Give it to the samurai. Right. You know, like the dragon sight. Like, you have to kind of cater to the samurai because they have such a higher...
Well, and at that point, too, I mean, looking at the numbers, it's like, all right, I can either go Dragoon and give everybody, like, a little crit boost for 15 seconds, or I can deal out 23,000 damage weapon skills every few rotations on my Samurai. Like, which one's probably going to be better over time? It's a little crazy.
Goodbye, piercing debuff.
Goodbye, piercing debuff.
The one bard in the party is very upset. Meanwhile, the tanks with their slashing damage are like cool.
Yeah, everything's great. Yeah. I don't know.
Warriors will do anything for a little extra damage now.
Since I switched my main, Red Mage is cool. That's about it.
I've heard good things.
It's cool.
It's
really fun.
I unlocked, and I think I did a striking dummy for a little bit, and I enjoyed it. It was alright.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's maybe a little bit too easy for the damage that you can do. Maybe I could see that. The utility is insane. Like, I just raise everyone if something goes wrong.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's been very helpful.
And and the reason that, you know, going, like, the last thing I'll say about Summoner and Red Mage is the reason that I'm a Red Mage is if I'm going to be second to a Samurai, I may as well do the one that's fun.
Yeah,
that's it. that's my thinking. So
my Red Mage is still at 50, and it's on my list of things that I'm planning on leveling, etc. But my Dark Knight is almost 70. I'm literally half a bar to hitting 70, and then then I'm like, okay, what am I leveling next and next? You know, and it's this thing. It's like, so far I haven't personally found anything that it's like, okay, but I'm also like, I'm not, Savage isn't here, and I think that's where, like, from the live letter today, it's gonna be interesting to see kind of what adjustments they make to that. The one thing I want to do, I haven't done it yet, but on, like, the Summoner concept, is that I want to do the damage fall off calculation for Bane, to where at what point does it make more sense to redot some of those targets because you're losing so much on them, from that spread, because with Bio 3 it's instacast, so it's like it's just a GCD there. Same thing kind of goes with Miasma 3. But I'm like, anyway.
I think it has been done in one of the giant documents. There's, I mean, because the Summoner tomes get very long, but I think there is one, not from the normal high. I believe the name is Arene Snow, but in there they have a Pain Flare is better than Bane at this many people, and that sort of stuff. It's around. It's harder to find nowadays, but it's around.
Good old math.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of waiting to see what changes come with Dragoon. I feel like I'm in a bit of a job rut right now. It's like, Aldino was saying, so Summoner, I'm a Red Mage now. It's like I was gonna do Sam. Somebody else in my raid group called Sam before I did. I'm looking at. I've been toying around with a ninja a little bit. At the end of the day, I've been gearing up my Dragoon. My Dragoon's like 317 now. Like, it's ready for raid.
Yeah.
I've been kind of like crossing my fingers with changes and stuff. So we'll see. But I don't know.
I'm saying Ninja is actually better than Dragoon right now.
I know. That's why I'm leveling Ninja.
It's better at damage and raid.
I don't know how I feel right now. I'm in a bit of a job rut. So we'll see.
You feel sad.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little depressing. I cry
in
myself to sleep.
contrast to all of the sadness that you feel, I'm a bard.
I'm great.
Again.
Yeah. So So tell us, how do you like the Bard gauge? How do you like, because the Bard felt like the most influx of new.
I actually don't like the gauge. I find it to be almost completely useless. It's a visual timer that is a little swish. It counts down to 30 seconds, and then I put up the next song.
But what about the respiratory?
Repertoire. I don't need to pay attention. Respiratory. I don't need to pay attention to.
With words.
Yeah, I don't need to pay attention to the ones during Payon. If they show up, cool. If they don't, whatever. You get 20 seconds of Payon, and you go right back to Minuet because screw Payon. And the ones during Minuet, you pretty much always just want them to fill up, and there's a nice little noise when that happens. So if they took that bar away entirely, and I had like a little two number countdown somewhere, and the sound that went off at the same time, I wouldn't even need the little gauge at all.
Yeah, and we know they're working on simplified job HUDs, so you'll probably get that at some point. So
initially, I had it in kind of a dumb spot, and very much like what other people have said, I'm like looking here, and it was a little frustrating, and I managed to compact everything and then realize what I've just said, that I don't really need to look at stupid gauge at all. Right. So it's much easier if you don't do that.
I mean, I've brought my stuff down closer to my hotbar, but there's still, you still have to move your eyes a little bit. I mean, not that it's hard to move your eyes, right? But it's it's so hard to look.
The thing that happened to you, though, from 2.0 to 3.0, you lost like mobility. So then from 3.0 to 4.0, you got it back. How does that feel for you? I'm just like, I'm really
interested. Super great. Yeah. There are times where I find myself doing the stutter step, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is unnecessary. Let's just run a circle because we can. I actually said to, I think we were doing Omega version 4. And somebody was like, you don't need to run away from the thunder every time, and I'm like, but I can.
I will say, as a Dragoon who gained a 6 Malm tether ability, range DPS pissed me off so much playing through 4.0. None of them would stand still, and I get it. It's like when me and my wife did some dungeons together. I'm like, all right, honey, I love you. You need to stand right next to me. I get that you can run everywhere. That doesn't mean you have to.
I actually, not up until a random Kugane Castle run did I end up with the Dragoon. And he put the tether thing on me, and I was just like, what is this? And somebody who happened to be in Discord with me at the time was like, oh, that's this blah, 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 blah. Stand next to him. So I did. But I just hadn't seen it at all, so I didn't know what it was for,
I just like, anytime I picture somebody getting dragon sighted for the first time, I just think of like Gollum in the Lord of the Rings going like what is it? Like
don't touch me, I don't want this thing.
I get it. It's like when like Dark Knight Ninja came out, right? Like they have their weird like AoE things. Everyone's like, do I stand in this? What is this? What do I do? I don't understand.
I'm happy for you, Michelle, for your ability. Julie plays Bard, and she's just like this. It's funny though for her though, because even 3.0, she's still like, oh, I forget I can move. Like it's like, it's still like she hasn't hit cap yet, but hopefully soon. And she's like, oh yeah, like, oh, it's so nice.
It makes me feel good. It's very much like a throwback to 2.0, except that it's more difficult. You do have like 6 things you have to watch at any given time. So when I finally get up to 70, and I was looking at. I don't parse. I was not looking at numbers. I was kind of like, I am maybe not doing as well as I should be doing.
So I was looking heavily at my chat log.
Yes, exactly. I
was doing some manual
parse with my eyes and my brain.
Yes. So it's dots you have to keep up as per the norm. They go up to 30 seconds now. That's pretty great. I can tell you that they pretty much had to do that, or you would be crying the entire time trying to keep up stuff and actually do damage. You have to pay attention to the gauge to, the minimal amount, because you have to see when the 30 seconds is up. You do, as per the norm, as should any bard, look at the TP and MP of your party. You have to watch for 3 or 4 different procs, because as bard has always been, it's super proc based. And they added, like 2 extra ones to those. And then, of course, you have to watch the arena so you don't die and stupid stuff. So,
so there you
just
go.
a lot of stuff to look at, but I'm gonna say it's better. I enjoy it more. My opinion, it's better.
I'm really happy that Paladin.
Meanwhile, with Machinist.
Oh yeah.
I think Machinist is sort of having the same issue as Dragoon.
Yeah.
Except
I haven't part
of their job to lose their.
I haven't had time to play with it. Like I think I'm 61 Machinist, maybe 62. So one of these days, maybe
4th. Like I did Bard, I did Astro, which is virtually the same with a couple cool extra things.
Yeah.
I did Red Mage because it's super fun, it's super easy. And then I was like, okay, well, in Static, I am the Bard, so let me check out Machinist, see if this jives with me better. And I went through one dungeon and was like,
nope.
Yeah. See, I have a retainer that's a Machinist, so I'm like, at some point,
oh no,
I either need to get something else to 70, or I need to
sorry.
get my Machinist out.
Just level Bard.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the members of our Static who does Machinist for like 2nd or 3rd choice was like, I'm just gonna go Bard. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I might just keep playing Sammy even if I'm not using it for raid. We'll see.
I'm really, really thrilled that Paladin has made its way back into prominence as a tank, which is great because I made this one video that was just kind of an introduction to the jobs, like not like even recommending any job, and some guy comes on and I respect his opinion, but he was like, how could you not say like at this, like when you're picking like your level 1 character that, Paladin is just junk. And I'm like, Stormblood launches in 3 days. Like, I don't know if it's still, things change. Like
everything is subject to change.
Yeah. And I was sitting there, all I said was like, if you like swords and shields and you want to be a tank, here, the gladiator becomes
There you go. There you go. That's the thing.
And it's like, all right. And then now I'm like, awesome. It's like great. Yeah, exactly. And hopefully we'll see, like people keep asking me about Dark Knight and I'm like, I like it. I think it's a lot of fun to play, still fun to play. Looking forward to going and leveling up my Paladin next.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sinija rocking that keyboard.
Yeah.
go. So as a person who does play a healer, how much do you absolutely love rescue?
I never take it.
No, I love the crap out of it because people stand in stupid crap or don't know where to stand.
Yeah.
And I did a Bismarck the other day, and there was a new person, and so that's not really their fault. They don't know that they need to stand on Bismarck's back to actually do any damage.
Right.
So I'm just like, hey, you, come here.
Yeah.
Put them on Bismarck.
And then Bismarck flies away, and they fall, and you're like, oh.
No, it was baby Bismarck, so it was fine.
It's nice for Susano.
Yes.
Yeah,
because
it's really nice for
to the back of the arena. They can't make it up.
It's like they designed rescue and the Susano fight at the same time. They're like, it'd be really nice to be able to do.
Siren Song C, the thing where you have to get away from the middle of the arena to not get stacks.
Yep.
I'll just stand on the edge of the arena and pull the DPS to me.
Come on over.
So they don't have to worry about it.
Yep. Right. It definitely has its utility. I have not been trolled by it at all. I know some people were saying they got, some people were doing the little troll moves. Right.
I have trolled a couple of people.
You can't not.
I like that.
But they're all my friends, so I'm like, I'll laugh first in Discord, like hee hee hee.
I like that you can macro all your on and offs for your roll abilities, so that way you get it and you're like, all right, I'm going to cast Protect. All right, then I'm turning Protect off, and I'm going to take this other ability. And if you know the group that you're playing with, then you know that okay, we're not going to wipe, so I don't need to worry about Protect. And it's like, especially because it has such a quick cooldown, so it's like, okay, cool, I'm going to take this, I'm going to grab this. And that way you feel a little bit more. It seems it's weird because they only give you 5, and yet like even in the interview for the live letter, they're talking about like, well, yeah, you feel like Protect and Ensuna are like required for your healing roll, and now you have to pick those, and so you feel kind of shortchanged. It's like, well, you get around that with macros, and it seems kind of funny that you have to.
The system of it though, it still seems kind of ridiculous that that's a thing. I agree. It has to be a thing. Like I do
it with Peloton too. Like I'll turn that on via macro. It goes off, and I turn it back over to like Palisade or whatever.
Exactly. I think that may be something that hopefully they'll address at some point in the future because
maybe
and he even talked about like I guess one option is just to remove Protect. It's like okay, it's like it's just gone. Just like they was.
I mean, we don't have Shell. Why do we have Protect?
Well, and Protect is Protect and Shell. It's like at some point, it's like, okay, well, we just I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but
the biggest problem with that macro is if you use the other ability and it's got a super long cooldown, they won't switch back.
You got to do them for abilities that have quick cooldowns. And then,
but on Bard, you don't have any of those.
Hooray! But yeah, I haven't used Rescue. I haven't seen. Haven't been rescued.
I've used the crap out of it.
I've seen it a few times, and it's always been like really awesome, like clutch moments where it's know like Susano, like that's the one I'm going to come back to every time because that's like the best example of how to use it. But
yeah, if I get the knockback, I just don't even move because I know I'm going to get rescued. So that's cool for me.
There you go. There you go.
It's because Threed loves you.
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and we will jump into the live letter here. Big shout out to Mr. Happy and our lead translator Marco for posting the summary here this morning. I was originally planning on staying up and trying to tweet it and post it, and I was so tired last night, and we had this here today, so I decided to sleep. What a concept. So the first thing, they are going to be adding strength on vitality accessories. They won't have as much strength as vitality. You'll probably still want to meld, but that'll help a little bit for the tanks out there.
Hopefully it helps offset the 270 kind of desire.
Right.
Just to take
Boy, I sure am tired of seeing that in Shout Chat.
Yes.
Talk about something else. Anything else.
What? Gosh, Shout Chat in Ralger's Reach on Hyperion has been such garbage the last few days.
Ralger's Reach, it's Kugane, and it's Yansha because people are out there waiting for the Fox
Fate.
Yeah.
It's been just like, look, I get it. People are going to shout and be idiots, but I just feel like they're more like rude idiots now, right? Like, I don't know
when
what
it is.
When I see
friendly Shout Chat, I'm just so amazed.
You could do that?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not talking about accessories for tanks? Or, oh my gosh, the whole like Japanese culture meme thing.
Yes, I've been seeing a lot of that.
So tired of this.
Yeah.
I still haven't turned Shout Chat back on after 24 hours in the Stormblood.
I leave it on for when somebody needs a raise.
Right,
because people shout for raises.
Yeah. No, that's their own.
I don't want them to get screwed just because everybody else is a terrible troll.
True.
Yeah. They're going to be making some changes to Warrior and Dark Knight.
Good.
Because they're a little sad right now because Paladin is so good. So they'll be changing the effects for Shake It Off, and the Beast Gauge won't reduce when stance changing.
Such a godsend. Oh my goodness.
For Dark Knight, they're going to increase the potency of some of their abilities and add new effects to other abilities. So make sure to check those out. A lot of these two are going to be dropping Tuesday. With the update, we're going to be getting Omega Savage, which we haven't talked about Omega. I know we've been talking spoilers. Omega is still kind of new-ish.
Yeah.
So we'll get that on the next one. Do Omega.
Yes.
I'll just do Omega.
So cool.
Do Omega.
I don't like the first fight. The rest of them,
yeah.
Pretty awesome.
I just like the story.
The story is
cool.
Amazing. Yeah, the story is great. Let's see. What
was next?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
It's just us.
I got to be right back.
Okay. Well, then, I'll let you take over going question 3, I guess.
I don't wanna. Okay, so healers.
Sure.
A lot of role actions are very useful, so players are having a hard time deciding what role actions to take. We were just talking about this.
Yes, exactly.
Is there anything else here?
No.
Nope. All right. They're not going to increase role actions. Use a macro.
Yeah, use a macro.
Yeah, it's actually, I guess like maybe we can post it with the episode when we put it up. It's very simple macro. Yeah. I actually, tangent. I've started using macros of other things like Refulgent Arrow, just because I'm so used to hitting Straighter Shot. I see Straighter Shot. It's the closer button. I hit it. I don't do Refulgent Arrow. It sucks. So I made a macro that's like 7 lines of Refulgent Arrow and 2 lines of Straight Shot, and I just don't ever do Straighter Shot because you shouldn't.
Not ever.
Nope. Useless. As far as I've read / experienced. All right, question number 4. Due to the new gauges, resources like Eighth Flow or kept cards are not displayed to the party and can be difficult to coordinate. Any plans to adjust this? That's so true. At first, I was really glad that it didn't show Astro cards because people are always asking for Astro cards.
Exactly.
It's like, no, screw off. I'm going to put this card where I want it. But if you're an Astro with another Astro, you really want to know what cards they have. So you can coordinate better. So what's their answer? In 4.1, they will make it display both in the job UI and the party list.
Yay!
It's a good idea, yeah.
That's good. That's good. You're still gonna have whiners being like, I want the balance. Give me the balance.
Are you a samurai? Nope. Shut up.
No. But yeah, at least you'll be able to coordinate with your healers and stuff.
So good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So we're on 5 scholars. I guess I'll just read it. Due to the removal of the dot and the Bane nerf, as well as the nerf to the fairy potency, players feel like Scholar is too weak. Are there any planned adjustments? And yeah, they're going to get quite a few things. And it's a little bit interesting because they're going to give Miasma 2 back for Scholar only.
Where is it now? Like, you have 1 and you have 3.
Yeah, it's like sure.
I mean, I'm not good at math, but I can count at least up to 10, and I feel like there's a number missing between the 1 and the 3.
And then you go read the lore about how they decided to name spells, like, you know, back in the Amdapori. It's like, hey, guys.
What the heck?
Okay.
I would love a book that just explains why there's no Miasma 2.
No 2.
Yeah. We were going to name it Miasma Ga, but then we just decided to get rid of it altogether.
And then we rolled the dice, and 3 came up, and so we went for
we just went with 3, and it was great.
I'll just finish this one out. As an added mention for Astrologian, you're going to get the ability to discard a spread card, which is kind of cool. I've heard a lot of complaints about, it's in the spread and now it's stuck there. Yeah. They're going to do some stuff with Cure 2 procs and Lilies and do something. They don't know what yet. They haven't said what yet with Plenary Indulgence, which is the weird, stacking confession thing for white mages, which I've never seen used. I've never seen anyone use it, like, ever, period. I used it in the media tour after I was like, you got to stack.
We need to test this.
Yeah.
Never used it.
Never again.
I'm at like 67 on White Mage.
So you don't.
So I still really don't know how any of the extra Lily junk works. Except what makes your spell speed faster when you have all 3?
No,
that was
recast time shorter, right?
Yeah, that was the first translation was spell speed, but it's recast time for your off GCDs basically now.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
It's just kind of there. Like, so now White Mage is like super powerful, like from a healing and a damage perspective. So it's like really they show up, and it's like so it's so funny to see the shift. And there was so much rage against White Mage, and they were like, White Mage is actually the best.
Yeah.
But the Lily thing, in the best way I can describe it is like. It's like, and it's you don't bank on it. It just makes it a little bit better for you in that case. And disease being kind of the big standout because you do damage and you heal with that ability and you recover MP. And so like you have so much MP recovery ability with it.
Oh man, yeah.
But yeah, so I wouldn't bank on Lilies.
When you get 3 Lilies, it makes the same noise as when you get 3 repertoire stacks in Wonders when you met. So I'm like, time to. Oh no, wrong.
Wait a minute.
Entirely.
Hold on.
Nope.
That's not
Something's different here.
It's probably the same noise as when you get Bahamut too, because when you finish the last Dreadworm trans, there's this noise, and I'm like, Bahamut's ready.
It probably
time to shine. Oh, face change.
Yeah.
It's like a ding, jingle, chew.
Yeah.
Yep. I can make jingle noises with my mouth.
Oh, hey, this is one for you, Fusion. I think we're 7, right?
We skipped 6, I think.
6, yeah.
There we are.
So job gauges were created. We're added
to
create
about that too.
A smaller gap, between player skill. But for some jobs, it didn't get easier at all. This was unintentional. No kidding. We're gonna be making adjustments. All right.
For real.
We knew that. We also know that they're going to make more simplified job gauges. The Dragoon's damage output is pretty low compared to other melee DPS, even with their utility. Any planned adjustments? Adjustments are planned for 4.05, so this will be Tuesday. Mirage Dive animation will be shorter because it kind of messed up your rotation if you tried to weave it with stuff, which is great. Which it's the way it's made, it's a weave ability, but the animation would kill you if you did that. Range on Dragon Sight will be doubled.
Nice.
Yay!
Is that not far enough for you still?
No, that's literally twice as much now.
I realize what doubled means. But...
what's the range on cover? I don't know that off the top of my head.
Felt like it was always pretty decent, but
cover
let's
is
say
always
10.
let's say 10. So it's long. So great. Now we won't have any issues with the melee or with the range DPS running.
I'm gonna look it up.
That I know about
10.
Yeah.
Chili hooking us up in the chat. 10. Okay. 10. So it's longer than cover. So great. That's a great change.
That's pretty good.
The only downside is that it's still an ability that exists. So other than that, we're good.
Okay.
Elusive Jump will now have a 30-second recast. Okay, so that helps, right? Because oh god, I should know this. I just look at the thing and it turns on every so often. What is the?
What?
See, I remember seeing that in another translation that it was not Elusive Jump but Spine Shatter Dive, and that would be amazing. But if it is Elusive Jump,
it should be Spine Shatter Dive.
But I don't know which. I don't know
because
that was
Elusive,
super unofficial. So
Elusive Jump, again, too, it's worth noting that this is all the stuff from Marco.
Yeah.
So it's not an official translation by any means. But yeah, it should be Spine Shatter Dive. If it's Elusive Jump, who the hell cares?
Backflips, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, look, right now Spine Shatter Dive is on a 60-second recast, so if they cut that in half,
be 30.
That'll increase the rate that you can Life of the Dragon by quite a bit. So that would be really nice. So hopefully that'll work.
Don't. No, I guess I want to say Dragoons use Elusive Jump to get out of junk, but I think at this point you've all learned just not to, right?
I will use it to both get away from stuff. More often than not, though, I will use it to get back to the boss.
Yeah. Do that pro 180 and then do the backflip.
One of my greatest fights was.
I mean, so it could be useful.
No.
Okay.
That's not. We need stuff for Life of the Dragon to be fixed. That's the issue here. But
maybe it's like the apology, like, oh, we're so sorry. Also, we're gonna make this thing even better.
It's, all right. Or you could just, walk. It doesn't do anything other than it reduces enmity, right?
Yes.
But we have diversion, and it's just
and a samurai in the party. So I mean,
I don't. Yeah. Sonic Thrust is going to be adjusted. All right, cool. I guess. Blood of the Dragon will now be 20 seconds, and there will be some potency buffs. So right now, Blood of the Dragon by default is 15.
That doesn't seem like a
so one of the issues, right, is you would be doing Susanoo, Lakshmi, whatever. They do a phase change, right? Right before it happens, if your Blood of the Dragon is going low, you can reactivate it, and it'll go up to 15 seconds. The problem is, you don't always have time. Because it's not even that it's like, okay, you have 15 more seconds. It's, no, you have 5 seconds because you still need to do a rotation to extend that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's, you can kind of use it as like a, hopefully I can keep it going and I won't lose all of this work that I've been doing.
Do you find that you're short by 5 seconds, or do you find that it's more than that?
It's usually the whatever gap is. It's usually just long enough that it'll wear off. It's just long enough to be frustrating.
Might be helpful,
yeah. Okay. It might. But this also, again, it also depends on where your Blood of the Dragon is at that phase change. Yeah. If you're at a full 30 seconds, great. Or, of course, in like if you're looking at like Lakshmi, you can't use any actions at a certain point either. So it gets very difficult to try and exactly. It's a pain.
Do the dance.
It's a pain. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Do you find you have party members that run up to right under where Lakshmi's boobs are going to come down?
I've never had anybody do that.
No, like
we do that
2 to 3 people. Yeah,
okay.
and our static just sort of like.
Every single
whatever floats their boat. All right, Monk. Riddle of Fire slows Monk's weapon skill recast, but people who play a Monk are used to attacking fast. What's the reason for this? They wanted to make it easier to weave abilities and provide some more damage. The job should be performing well, so be sure to try it in Savage. So nothing coming.
Well, Savage is going to.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and that's why we also see stuff in 4.1. It's like, the real test is, how does it perform at the most difficult content? Because from there, you balance it for that, and then everything else should pretty much fall in line.
Right.
Like,
one of the,
so that's where it'll be interesting to see. Go ahead, Charles.
One of the things someone in the audience asked, and this is also an unofficial translation, but they asked about Monk, and Yoshi P said, well, in Savage, you might see monks doing more damage than some samurai. And I was like, I don't know if that's true, but maybe. I don't know. Maybe the mechanics are such, weird. But I really don't see it happening.
That would be weird.
Supposedly the monk patch, so it'd be it's like, hey, it's the monk.
It's like
patch.
I'm over here leveling in. That's not. I should be. And then I can fight with the samurai over gear. That'll be great.
Oh yeah.
Machinist. The heat gauge seems to have made Machinist harder to play, and their damage is a bit low. So there are adjustments to Machinist to the heat gauge and the damage dealt. Hotshot is going to be an 8% increase now, and the turret overloads will be doubled in potency.
So that they actually stand even like a candle's chance against how awesome Bard is.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, if I remember, the overload, because that's a new thing, I think, right? That's the one where they blow up.
Explosion.
So that, I mean, that's the way that it works is basically when you have your wildfire now, you just blow up your turret as well, and that'll give you an extra boost damage. So if they're doubling it, that's a nice extra kick, nice for sure. So that'll be nice. Summoner. Bahamut is in the way. Help. We've actually had Bahamut ruin mechanics for us in Susano, because you all get in a line and somebody gets targeted, but you can't see because it's just Bahamut in front of everybody. We've had that in Lakshmi too. Like if off tank won't be second on the hate list to get that blue reticule, so someone else will get it. We don't know who. Because we just have a screen full of Bahamut ass, just like.
See, I usually put myself away or to a side so it doesn't happen. But yeah, if you're not paying attention,
but I mean, sometimes it's you have your Bahamut out. Oh, it's a stack thing. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. So they can't make him transparent because it adds stress to the system if it collides with another transparent object.
It must be makes sense. The same layers.
I don't know how that works. Size adjustment is going to be coming, and it will be set with a text command optional.
I ain't doing it.
Well, it sounds like they also said it wasn't that I was setting it as a summoner, but you could set your visual display for another summoner.
So that would be okay.
It's hey, I want to see it.
He also says that it won't be in 4.05, so they're still discussing some stuff. I feel like... And no disrespect to the devs, right? But putting all this stuff in with with text command seems kind of lazy.
And
I think especially in this particular instance, it's something that affects other people, not necessarily the summoner. So it shouldn't be. I don't know if it's something that everybody has to do or if it's specific to the summoner. But everybody should be able to tell the client if they want a giant Bahamut, right?
As long as everybody does it, it's a good solution. I
I
don't want to see Bahamut at all. Make him this big.
I think they should just change it for everybody across everything, and just don't worry about a text command. I get it. It's awesome. You have a giant Bahamut.
There are going to be people that want that and want to keep that.
Well, and you know what they do? They can shoot a video of them playing it right now. And they can just put it in one of those digital picture frames, put it on their wall, and they'll have it forever.
Or they can set it so everybody can change the size of Bahamut, and everybody can have the size that they want.
But see, then that's making people have to do other crap that they shouldn't have to do.
Regardless, it's it's there. That's the size of that.
I think it's a better solution.
Just a way to fix it, and then you can set it. So if you don't,
I think they should apply it to the other Eggies.
It's if you had a subtitle Stormblood, it would be make unnecessary macros. So much of this stuff is unnecessary. Please make macros to make it better. If something needs a macro to make it be used,
leads to a UI element, and then you're fine. And just from an expedience perspective, a text command is a lot easier to build for the UI element, because it's you gotta go, and there's so many other factors. So it's okay, here you go. This will fix it. Yes, and then just same thing. We still have the Summoner Eggy Glamour system. Needs a UI, but at least we have access to it to a degree. It's something.
Yeah, I've never had trouble with how big Bahamut is, in any content though. I'm playing Susano and Bahamut's on me, and I'm well, there's lightning now. I'll check for it. I don't know. I don't see the problem. But if they give people a way to deal with it, then it's cool. Yeah. I just wish there was more about Summoner in here other than that and the next question. So.
Any adjustments for Psychic for Summoner? Red Mage's cure is too strong. I love this, but
psychic.
It's summoner. Red Mage has white magic in their lore, and people are upset that Black Mage doesn't have raise, but it's Black Mage, so they're not doing anything.
I like that. I like that.
Get over it.
You know, at the end of the day, like, it's natural that everybody make all the jobs the same. It's like, no, you want differences. But for what, like, one job's weakness, another job might have it as a strength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See, but the thing is, that was not this question. This question
was making.
I think, yes, it was the pet heal. No, it was mostly for the pet heal because sustain is gone, and if your pet dies, you're screwed. So, like, the original one was, can Physic do more HP to pets? And then it kind of got. I don't know. Maybe
misunderstood.
Lost in
I want
translation.
to hope
would fix it, but you can take you can take a race just to have an extra heal on you.
Yeah, we basically had two things to pull from for the live letter. We either had the forum thing, forum post, or we had the summary from Marco. And after looking at the Dragoon question, the Dragoon's just like, we're gonna make changes, but still like maintain the uniqueness of the job. Like, that gives us nothing. That doesn't tell us anything about what you're doing.
I don't know if it was translated wrong, but like that's what I took the question to be. You know, like not make summoners heal. Like, who wants that? Like, that's weird. I don't know. Maybe someone did ask that question, but I wish they would have touched on.
I think the fix would be either them bringing back sustain or having some kind of boost for pet heal or something like this. Yeah, you can use.
You know what they could do? Put the pet on the party bar so the healer can use it.
So the healer can see it. Yeah,
that in itself would be
because that's exactly what the healer wants, right?
Yeah,
it's like cool. I gotta heal your pet. Fantastic.
Well,
I mean, but you can do like a regen on the end of a full timer thing, and it doesn't really set you back anything.
It also would help you see what the aggro the pet has. You know, like in some cases, where it's like, oh, this thing. Your pet.
Sometimes,
you know, for those parties that are still doing the all summoner Titan Eggy Rama tanking, you know.
Honestly, that was great. I wish they did that.
I wish I had my summoner up before they got rid of that. I really wanted to try that. I thought that would have been a lot of fun.
Without sustain is basically impossible now, but you know,
right?
Titan just get wrecked.
Yeah,
I usually do a pull with Titan on every.
And we have to be like,
we do.
Oh god, it's the last one of the night. Everybody leave quickly before Charles kills us with a Titan.
Because I immediately pull right after we're done with Titan just to see how long he'll last, and it's been sad lately.
Every so often, I'll like elusive jump into the boss.
Yeah, Dragoon. You have to yell Dragoon. I'll do it.
or if it's a wipe, I'll elusive jump off the edge. That's always. I'm going out in style.
Yeah.
What does Excognition do? I just got it on.
Okay, so
Star.
it's fantastic.
So cool.
It's getting even better. So you have Lustrate, right? So it's like the insta heal at 600 potency. Exogen is a pre Lustrate that's actually 650 potency. So you apply it, and as soon as the target falls below 50 HP, so it's just like
that's cool.
It's great. So we're talking about like your management of your Aether flow stacks. Is let's say you have one, or heck, even three, but like let's say you have one left, and you're like, hey, I can use, I can get more Aether flow. Well, instead of just using it and then basically losing the one, you can just like, I'm gonna pre-cure you, and then you just place that out there, then get your 3 back and let that go off of cooldown. So it really kind of helps like, okay, I can use this. You don't need it now, but you will. The one change I would make to it is make it last longer or make it not fall off, because it is on a timer. It's like 30 seconds, I think. It would be great if you could just say pop, just all of a sudden, like you just see them
like
just going
Earthly
out,
Star, yeah.
Yeah.
So I love Earthly Star.
And I believe in the live letter, they're actually making the potency even better, because it's at 650 right now.
Wow.
It costs, it costs an Aether flow stack just like Lustrate, but all you're doing is preparing. You're just being prepared.
Right. Which is kind of what Scholar is.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I wonder, I don't know, and this is amusing, it's kind of beside the point, but I wonder if the buffs you have when you cast it go off when if it snapshots like a dot. Because if it does, then you can, Whispering Dawn and use your new roll-based action that's another 40%, and then just be like, well, when it goes off, you will be at full health. Enjoy. Period.
Yeah.
That will be, I guess, somebody needs to min-max that and find out, because that essentially is the case. Because it's like, I would assume that it would be applied, it would take into account what buffs you have at the time it's applied.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Samurai and Red Mage will not be nerfed. Any other planned adjustments? I love that. I love that. Black Mage is getting some MP adjustments and some cast time adjustments for Blizzard and Fire 4. Triple cast duration will be changed to 60 seconds, and there will be more job changes in 4.1. Ninja's Gust Slash is getting nerfed.
It's quite strong.
It's good. It's good. Gust Slash is getting decreased a little bit.
There's a bit to that where they said that the reason that they want to decrease Gust Slash is because the players found a rotation that they didn't know about. And it's too strong for Ninja. Like, that's one of the things that they said. Yeah, they did something we didn't think they would do. So Ninjas are too strong. So we're just going to do Gust Slash, which is just the second hit in their
interesting
combo. Yeah, it's weird. That's cool.
Yeah. Talking about sprint, TP, and things outside of combat. I agree. I don't like sprint outside of combat now. They're not sure what they can do.
Too slow.
They're working on it.
Bring it back faster.
Yeah, they'll look at it.
Faster recast.
Yeah.
It really sucks for Palace of the Dead. I used to use that crap on cooldown.
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing a lot of Palace of the Dead with my Ninja, and I miss sprint.
Yeah.
PvP. Can they make changes so that you get XP on the job you entered with, and not the job that you exit with? They say that it's difficult, but they're working on it.
Yeah. Well.
Just switch back at the last minute.
That would be.
Go get murdered. Whatever.
That's, I was just about to go like, that'd be really nice because blah blah blah. Just switch back. Oh well, yeah. Duh. I mean, you could do that.
You'd have to keep track of how far along the game was and actually probably head back to the start. Right. But
just switch back. I didn't even know you could switch until this question. I was like, wait, you can switch?
You have to be at the little starter circle.
Yeah. I think I was doing my machinist in PvP, I think. So that's why it's only like 61. I haven't done it since the changes.
I'm loving PvP, but again, like the same kind of the question of like applying that XP, it's a really good one, and one that essentially is like, hey, I want to play this, but because it can be applied outside of XP. It's like, oh, man, I would tank. Let's say I would tank a leveling, but I don't. I've got all my tanks at 70. I don't yet, but that will happen. So there's no benefit for me to go in as a tank for the reward or anything like that. Why not make it to where I could take that? Like, I really want to level, but the same answer applies there. It's like, well, I'm now getting experience for something I'm actually not playing. And so it's a weird give and take when it comes to that XP perspective, because, I would go run the roulette because I get the instant queue, but I would like to take that XP and apply it to something I would actually
to a job that needs it. Yeah,
exactly. Otherwise, like, what ends up happening is I don't run a tank, and thus you have longer queues.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, where were we?
16.
Adjustments to skills planned for when you level sync, especially playing old dungeons, is quite underwhelming since they don't flow as well as high level content. They're not touching any abilities. They're planning on some changes to the dungeon mobs, such as HP. All right.
Cool.
Sure. 24-man raid roulette. We actually asked about this at was it E3?
Something like that.
We had 2 interviews really close to each other. I can't remember which.
Well, because now we're looking at like a lot.
They are making it 4.1. Cross-server alliances, and they're going to make it so that you only need 1 tank for Labyrinth of the Ancients. They're not sure when that'll happen, but that is something they're working on.
That's going to be big.
They're working on making adjustments to the achievements for level 50 and 60 frontline maps. They're also going to be doing weekly rotations of game modes to help encourage participating in other maps.
Good.
So that's nice.
Tangent. I hate healing in PvP now. Like, I super liked it before.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
How so?
I hate it. Well, I played Astro in PvP, and a huge part of Astro was shields. We don't have them.
Right.
They're gone. It's no fun. Maybe I should play Scholar. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah. We have one of my friends. He switched to doing healing in PvP, and he's been topping the board at almost 500,000 HP healed on a.
I heard Bard is super great.
Bard Machinist is good.
But I like healing in PvP.
Fantastic. I love Machinist in PvP.
Yeah.
Machinist
is good. Great. Oh, Summoner in PvP is amazing.
Several of the things that people have said about Summoner in PvP is fantastic. Like, people like the comment I've got is like, PvP is so good, man. It makes PvE seem a little bit like
I hate healing
because also the gameplay element. But one of my friends, he just did a mouse over macros for his PvP. So he's just like pop, 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 just going around dotting everybody and then healing and keeping us up. And we've been doing real good. We've been having a lot of fun. We've actually been streaming it out on Wednesdays. Awesome. And it's just like, man, I cannot wait to find out what the Siege thing is or whatever this next PvP thing is. They said 4.1 because it got delayed or whatever, but still it's
I think so.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to try it on Bard because I still need to get all those what is it, Makai junkie junks.
That's why I've been doing Machinist in PvP. I started doing Sam in PvP and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have a title for Sam.
Yeah,
so I've just been doing it. Yeah,
I got one of my mounts. I got one of the mounts that's like the metaled up gear. Which is great.
You don't have to have the title of the job you're on. You can have any title.
You just need the title.
So you don't have to have the.
Oh, you don't need it equipped.
You just need the title. Well, no, I think you need the title.
You have to have a title.
It doesn't matter,
but it doesn't matter which job.
You could be a Makai
so I could.
Oh, okay. See, all right.
Gotcha.
There we go. Cool. Shows how much I know. Talking about.
And now you do.
I know. A lot of people talking about how they like the story for Omega. Are there going to be any secret or unknown stories in the game using the interdimensional rift?
4 Fiends, please.
Please.
There's been talk that maybe those are the new, like the trials for Stormblood. Like maybe they do the 4 Fiends. I think they might go the other way and they might do like Suzaku, Shiryu, Bayako.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And
I want to see the 4 Fiends as the last 4 levels of Omega. Because I love them.
That'd be really cool.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
The only downside in Omega right now is that when you compare it to Lakshmi and to Sasano, the voice acting for those are so good, and then there's no voice acting in Omega.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this kind of feels like
they should have at least done it for 4.
Yes, for 4.
At least, and then it's like, because I'm saying, like, I was like, wow, like, I love, Sasano for me is just the standout voice.
Yeah.
Have you listened to him in other languages?
Yeah, we've been switching around to the other languages to listen to him. It's really great.
He is hilarious in Japanese.
In Japanese.
Yes. So we put that up on YouTube. I remember seeing that. It's good stuff.
We switched to French another night. He's very excited.
Oh my gosh. So we'll just say it's right now the first leg of Omega is FF5 based. We won't get into any more details than that. But they said that a lot of people that are with the company right now, they worked on Final Fantasy V, and so they wanted to do that. They're also working on the Super Savage content that can only be entered if you clear the final fight in Omega Savage.
Super Sandwich content.
Super Sandwich. They say it's not necessarily a 5th encounter in Omega. More information will be coming later, closer to 4.1. Yoshida says it will be very chaotic. Normal Savage drops Tuesday. They say that the difficulty will be about the same as Creator Savage. The final fight will be more difficult, though.
Yeah, he said that I think they were trying this time around that I get from the raid that it would get difficult over the course of the expansion, over the patches, as opposed to like Heaven's Word that started off real difficult and then the rest of it kind of last difficult. So it's like I was like, I kind of felt a little bit easier right now. I'm interested to see how Savage is received.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, can we do more sniper minigame stuff?
I love that thing. It was so fun.
The first time I found one of those quests, I was like,
"What is this?"
I was like, "Dude, yes, it's so good." It's like go hit a sheep with a trank dart. Awesome. 10 out of 10. Yeah. So they might just add more of those in MC, in the MSQ later on. They're not gonna add it. They should add a mini game.
Right.
They should add like a little hunting mini game or something in the Gold Saucer.
Yes.
Probably like Oregon Trail.
Right. If you miss, a Moogle comes out from the bushes and laughs at you.
Yes. Oh man.
You can just send me the check for the idea square. Can we replay special event in Azim Step? The one for the
I'm actually legitimately sad to hear that they're not planning to use that again.
Yeah. They're looking to add these in the future, but they're not sure when. This has been a question that's popped up a couple times. There's been a lot of like instant stuff for quests, but you can't redo them. So it's people are asking for it, so we'll see what happens.
I was still talking about the Dart game.
Yeah.
Oh, Dart game. Gotcha.
That too. Are there plans for Namazu minions and plushies in game or actual merchandise? He didn't say yes or no. He just talked about the Namazu a bit. So who knows?
I hate them.
I'm indifferent. I will say the one thing that surprised me was the number of new like spoken races. Right? Because you have like the Namazu. We also had the Lupin that just came out of left field. Like the first time I saw that, I was like, wait, what?
I thought they were wearing a mask.
Yeah, and then I saw the tail. I was like, wait a minute.
Okay.
What's happening here?
It's like they didn't feel like dealing with it like for 4.0, so maybe they'll be in 5.0. It's so weird just to have them.
Like, give it the Aura treatment. Here's your new race. You'll learn about it next patch. Expansion.
We need to figure out how Lupin wolf heads wear helmets. It's weird. I don't understand how this works. Will we get more sub-story in the Azim Step, like the NPC who's looking for a wife? Maybe.
People just want to know if he ends up with the other chick.
Yeah. He'll be the new custom deliveries person, like Zoe. You just deliver him, wives, and then he grades them.
You just have to craft wives.
Yeah, exactly.
You just go. There's a stall, and you just buy like character traits. It's like caring, loving, dedication, laziness.
This has gone all wrong.
And you just create a person, and you're like, how about this one? And he's like, no.
That's what your squadron's for. You're training them, and you're gonna send them. Got it.
Oh my gosh. Grand Company Wife Squadron.
Well, that's what I have. I don't know about anybody else.
I went and redeemed mine a few weeks ago, and I got 2 uniques.
Oh, nice.
Like right next to each other. I got the Lalafell in the flower dress, and then I got the Gold Saucer Bunny Girl. So now I have those, a snowman, a reindeer. It's great. My squadron's amazing. We talked about this a little bit. They're going to open up the garden at the top of the menagerie. Inventory space. Apparently, it's very stressful on the server. They're looking to maybe make adjustments.
Don't you dare take my inventory space away.
I don't think they would do that. Right?
Give me another freaking free retainer.
Yeah, they are going to look at the data for retainers.
Subscribe for 3 years. You know what? Here you go.
Here's a free retainer.
The turtle mount underwater is weird because it sets out fire. What's up with that?
It's not a real question.
They're like the turtle mount underwater is really weird when it spits out fire. Also, the same player wants the Alps mount. Alps. The Sahagin mount, right?
Yes.
To be able to swim. Since the animation is the same for air and underwater, whatever. Remember, the mounts are magic. It's magic. Everything's magic.
Yeah, true story. I use Admantoise underwater every time.
I love using the cloud underwater.
Yeah,
and this shouldn't be a thing. This shouldn't work this way. It's a magic cloud, so that makes it okay. I'm gonna skip it because some of these are just not.
Yeah, they're in the full text, so you can.
They plan on doing more jumping puzzles. Yoshida considers Estinian a warrior or a scion,
which is pretty interesting. Yeah,
I will say the final Dragoon quest.
Is it good?
Freaking amazing!
I'll have
to... You have to fight a dragon, and it ends with you and Estinian both LB3ing. At the same time, amazing. And it is like the greatest thing.
Double dragon.
Yes,
it is so good. Good.
It'd only be better if you both did like a jump kick and cross in midair. Like that'd be amazing.
Oh my god,
just bros.
Now it doesn't seem as cool because that wasn't a thing.
Or a fist.
You
bump,
ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Right? It was so good before, and now it's just.
I wish I could draw because I would draw that.
It sounds so cool. They talked a little bit about Omega Savage coming. Reward structure is pretty much the same. One item will drop directly from the coffer in version 4 Savage that'll be exchangeable for a weapon. So basically how it'll work is you'll get a thing, and if you use it on a job, it'll give you the weapon for that job.
So cool.
Also, weapons can drop directly, so potentially you get 2 weapons out of 1 kill, so that's nice. There is a Nutkin hiding. One of the rewards. I don't know what that means.
Oh, in the screenshot they like covered up with a nutkin because they didn't want you to see it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I don't have the picture for that. I'll go back and watch that.
It's not up there. Yeah.
Can only show so much in text.
Yeah.
They also showed the Lost Canals of Uznair, which is going to be the new Acropolis for 4.0 areas. And that's going to be coming with this as well.
I'm really excited about that. The Acropolis was some of the most fun content.
Yeah, it was sneaky fun. Yeah,
it was just just fun.
Yeah, and so that's it for all that stuff. They talked with Minagawa-san as well about some UI stuff. So if you are interested in that, make sure to go and check that out. That'll do it for that. Next up, we got a contest.
Woot woot.
Yes.
Isn't there like a whole second half of junk?
Yeah, we're gonna skip that.
Okay.
That's a lot of stuff. We're already at like 2 hours. It's a lot of stuff.
And it's like, the real meat I think comes in from.
It's all the QA. It's all the QA. That's what we needed to talk about. So our new contest. Let's get ready to revel.
Let's get ready to revel.
Right. My raid leader threatened to kick me out of the group after I said that. So now it's a contest name.
You have to, yes.
It's got. You
have to say it in the voice too.
Let's get ready to revel.
Let's get ready to revel.
So good.
You have to do it like
Susano. Okay. See, I was just doing it like the other guy. Remember, Let's Get Ready to Rumble boxing on the Dreamcast? Yep. Yeah.
Announcer guy.
Dating myself here.
All right. So much every time he said that.
So we have Susano shirts and Stormblood E3 bags. We have 3 sets of these. So if you win, you get a shirt and a bag. The shirt is an XL. We don't have any other sizes. That's how it is.
But you ask for free swag. That's what they give you.
This is what we get, right? And there's always like the one person. Don't you have a small? No, sorry, we have an XL. Do you have a double? No, we have an XL.
Frame it. Just frame it.
Frame it.
Make a tent out of it.
Yes. Yeah. Or you know what? If it's too small for you, wear the bag. These bags are so big.
They're really big, yeah.
They're so big.
Oh, man.
I think people have joked about making dresses out of the bags before. I don't know if anyone's ever... Has anybody ever done it?
No.
I feel like maybe somebody did.
I made a poster out of one.
Yeah, they gave them away at Anime Expo, so I got one from there.
See, the Anime Expo bag is different from the E3 bag because the other side of it had a different game.
Yes.
I forget
it's
what it was.
Is it Dragon Quest Heroes or something? It was also Square, but I don't remember what it was.
It also had a little Anime Expo logo on the bag.
Yeah, at the top.
Whereas the E3 one didn't have. It was just double-sided Stormblood. Anyway, to do this, you get an I Beat Susano t-shirt. You're going to have to show us proof of you beating Susano, which I know seems weird, right? We always do such weird things for contests, but now, you know what? Battle shirt, show us that you've beat Susano. We're not going to give you a shirt if you can't beat Susano that says you beat Susano. That doesn't make any sense. So this is going to be Twitter-based, open to residents of the United States and Canada. So in the next week here, and we'll have a post up on the website about this as well, we're going to send out a tweet. And what you have to do is you have to beat Susano. And then you have to take a picture of yourself in front of the exit in the Pool of Tribute doing an emote that we specify. You can use G-Pose if you want. That's fine.
So in the 24-hour span, you have to go and beat Susano because you don't know what the pose is going to be ahead of time.
Right. So what we do is once the tweet goes up, you have 24 hours, and it'll be like, okay, show us you being really happy. That /happy, right? Like we're gonna be obvious what emote you need to use. We're not, it's not like a code or something, right? And so you go in front of the exit and do happy. Tweet us the screenshot. Reply to the tweet for the contest, so so we can see it, and then we'll random 3 out of that. We'll have the rules and everything like that up on the website again. U.S. and Canada. You also need to be following us so we can direct message you on Twitter. Because if you win, we need to be able to send you the stuff, and if we can't send you the stuff,
we keep it.
That means that you didn't actually win.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, there's always like one, I feel like whenever we do one of these contests, there's always like one person that doesn't reply, and it's like 3 days later, I'm like, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah.
Alternatively,
we love trying to get shirts to give away, so.
No, I'm not going to say that. Never mind.
Uh-oh.
I'm scared.
That's nothing bad.
We probably should be. And I think is there anything else that we need to cover here before we go ahead and close out today? I think
any
we've
questions
covered...
about our opinions on junk?
Does anybody have any questions, or does anybody just want to say how awesome we are, or we'll take it. Whatever.
Sure. Why not?
I mean, you can tell us how awesome we aren't if that's your thing. Whatever. We'll give you guys just a minute or two here if you want to throw anything up in the chat. I know we got a good amount of people tuning in today, so
oh yeah,
we'll give you this time here if you have some questions. Yeah, sorry, Chili, no UK. We trying to think, what was it that we sent a Witcher 3 puzzle to Australia once, and we haven't done anything global ever since. It was like a $20 or $30 puzzle that ended up being. So
5.0 most likely is going to be June 2019.
No, it'll be probably 2 years.
That would be
that's what it is.
Yeah. June 20th, 2019. Yeah.
That'd be my
here first.
I misheard that part. Yeah, right. Calling it now. Schedule your vacation now. We promise you, without a doubt, that is when it is coming.
We're gonna learn about it maybe in October 2018.
Right. We'll see. We'll see if they keep that pattern.
Yeah,
in Vegas.
If they do,
probably in Vegas.
If they do, I hope that we're not first. Because I want a job reveal, damn it.
This time.
I want a job reveal. I don't want, like, look at my cool shirt. I want, like, here's Red Mage. Look how cool this is.
It would be neat to see if, like, Vegas was, like, last or something like that, like in February or something, and then be like, man, it'd be a big game.
Because they swapped the other two this past time.
Yep.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we've been first both times. It's probably somebody else's turn to be first.
That
I agree.
Love going to to Vegas in October. So
Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
It's super nice in October, to be fair.
It is. Vegas is fantastic in October. Highly recommend if you can go.
Yeah. We'll see.
Plus, all the restaurants are open later still.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Random input. You know the restaurant we went to?
Yes. That's great.
Charles and I and our significant others went back to Vegas like a month later.
Yeah.
We tried to go at the same time. Closed.
They're closed. Yeah. They're not open 24 hours then.
Huh. Now you know.
Yep.
Do you think they will bring more support classes in?
I hope so.
It's interesting. I could see so if you look at it, we've got 15 jobs and
when you say support though, is this like another bard, or do you mean they include support as a role?
Yeah.
Because those are very different things, and I think in either of those cases, I think no.
Yeah.
Because I think the not having a tank or a healer this time around, I think it didn't go as well as they thought it would. That's why we have leveling roulette bonuses now for tanks and healers. Which is kind of a bummer for the rest of us.
It's for
everybody.
It's for tanks and healers, because you're not going to see DPS in need on the leveling roulette right now.
You're not wrong, but it's technically
yeah.
You have to.
I hope all you tanks and healers out there enjoy your fully melded Materia 6 sets. Meanwhile, I'll be over here.
Level a tank or a healer.
No,
I've caught it. I've caught it every single day since then as healer.
Yeah.
I would say that the only way that you would see that happening is if they increase the base party size from 4 to 5.
Right.
The only way you can introduce that kind of level of concept is to move it from a 4-man to a 5-man and from an 8 to a 10.
And that's going to require so much work.
That's an undertaking.
That I don't think they would do that.
I want another support job.
At what point is what the value?
I want to play something else.
I could see that, like, if we look at it, we've got 3 jobs in each of the roles. So like except for range. So range is still at 2, and so I could see that with 5.0 that a ranged DPS support could be a fact, and I could even see a whip.
I consider machinist and bard as support. I think that what we need is a melee range support.
Yeah,
Dancer.
I mean, it's interesting, and I don't want to go on a rant about this, but it's a very I always say this because I will go, but machinist is, I don't think it's a support anymore. Like, what buff do they get?
No, you know, in 3.0, I felt like it was more of a support because it had more kind of like debuffs and stuns and that kind of thing. But with Stormblood, it went more damage-based, which is why I was really interested in picking it up again.
Because Bard has the permanent crit buff, the direct hit buff, the like healing buff, and Machinist has the TP and MP, the speed, and then hypercharge. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all the buffs they got. I don't know if they're supporting. Ninja is more supportive than Machinist is now, which is weird. Yeah. I don't know.
It was funny because, you know, being in this kind of job route that I've been in with Dragoon, I'm like, we have all these weird support abilities. And I'm like, I'm going to level Ninja.
Right.
And it's like, here's a thing to remove enmity from one party member. I was like, damn it. Like, this is not what I want.
Yeah. Every time somebody, Vash, tries to tell me that Ninja is support, I'm like,
no.
Gout.
It's a weird mix, right? Because there is no support role. There probably will never be a support role. And so every job just has sprinkled on, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, here's a support ability. Just, here you go.
And it leads into, like, this, I don't know what else to call it other than, like, a designated... You now have designated winners and losers at DPS. Mm-hmm. Like, Samurai's the designated winner, period. Yeah. And the more support you have, the more, I hate to say it, the designated loser you are. Like, more support you have, the less DPS you have, which kind of makes sense. But it's a very, like, older school World of Warcraft way to think about it. You know, like, I don't know that I like it, but it's the way that they're going. So.
It is what it is. Like, you know, at the end of the day, look, they'll take user feedback into consideration.
Yeah.
Square, if you're listening, Dragoon is not a support job; it's a damage dealing job. I mean, you know, and we've had a bit of that today with the live letter. You know, they're looking to make adjustments. They know people aren't happy with some of the changes. But at the same time, they still do have a vision for what they think that these jobs should be like, and they want to try and maintain that if they can. So we'll just see what happens.
Or is it?
Oh. We'll just see what happens. It looks like my mouse cursor was like picking your nose for a minute.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Now, if anybody just like talks smack to me, I'll just like pick their nose with my mouse cursor.
That'll probably be me. I feel like I give you the most crap.
Bring back the mustache.
I feel like that's accurate. All right. Since that was it from the chat, we're going to go ahead and close this out. If you want to contact the show, you can do that. You can email us, aetheryteradio@gamerscape.com. You can tweet at us at aetheryteradio. We are also on Discord, discord.gg/gamerscape. Come in, chat with us. If you have questions about the site or need website support, anything like that, make sure to hit up the Discord.
Yeah, something's broken's on the site.
We are still doing little minor tweaks to some things on the website. If you run into any issues, feel free to let us know. Also, leave reviews. We are on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We're on YouTube. We have Twitch affiliation now. You know, leave reviews where you can. If you want to support us, you don't have to. You can sub if you want to. Again, we don't have any kind of crazy stream schedule. We're not on here a lot, but that option is available for those that want it. You can get a little emote if you choose to do that.
Yep.
So, thank you everybody for tuning in. If you're doing Savage coming up here this week, hope you enjoy Savage. Otherwise, we will see you here whenever we do our next episode. I don't know when that's going to be.
2 weeks.
2 weeks? We'll just...
I'm kidding.
Okay. I'm like, man, don't commit us to that. We're never going to...
That's a joke.
Okay. We'll see. Next episode, sometime within the next year, we will do another episode.
True.
See that is true. That one we can commit to. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Make sure to keep an eye out for our Let's Get Ready to Revel contest. Get yourself a Susano shirt and an E3 bag. And we'll see you here next time on Aetheryte Radio. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
You can't see us waving, but we are.